everybody, and welcome. This is James from ASTS Sound Design. We are very happy to announce that we have our first virtual instruments. This is Presage. It's our boutique horror instrument. Just to go over a couple of things on the GUI. Of course, we have our spacer, reverb, our envelope, filter with high, low, and bandpass, as well as a screamer effect, which is going to give you a little bit more added distortion and a little bit more added color and EQ. We also have our big old Trepid knob. What's a library without a big old knob? The Trepid knob is going to be primarily going to be added transients and lots of like feedback compression to give it a nice big old wallop of a sound. We also have a frenzy knob, which is going to be more of a choral effect. I primarily use the feedback on here, and it gives it this really maniacal sounds to it. The fever is going to be a little bit of extra saturation just to kind of raise in the temperature a little bit. First patch we're going to be taking a look at is our bell triggers and our tick-tocks. The bell triggers, I think, are very important. It kind of gives you an alternative ticking sound without it being actual clock ticking. And let's take a look at that real quick without any of the added effects. Really simple, but with the added transients, kind of gives it a really nice oomph to it. The mix on the frenzy knob is right here, and with even just a little bit of frenzy just makes it sound really cool. Kind of gives you a little bit of added spice to it. The tick-tocks, of course, is going to be from a sampled cuckoo clock. Kind of gives it a little extra flavor. Let's take a look at the Azam. Let's see here. The Azam Bode Wood and Cymbals. This is sampled from the private collection of the one and only Jake Dioc. So we're going to take a look at some of these. These are some of my favorite sounds in here. Really spooky sounds, and you can see how you can change a lot of the textures on it with just those few knobs. Up next we have the Dark Victrola Atmos and drones. This is going to be a lot of like really heavy tension drones, primarily coming from a Victrola that we had sampled. Some of these can get upwards of 40 seconds, so we're only going to be playing a little bit of those. It's going to be our ghost bows. These are going to be atonal bows. The root note is going to be on the C's. Now for the highly anticipated cuckoo clocks. This is our haunted cuckoo clocks. Just like these are where the TikTok sounds came from. And we had 3 different sections for these. These are going to be more absolutely crazy, super sound design, over the top kind of sound design for cuckoo clocks. This is going to be more demonic sounding, really low tuned, just craziness. And then a much more dry, almost unprocessed sound. So you can really kind of come up with your own stuff. Couple of little reverses as well. We have 3 different of our horror scrapes. The first one is going to be our dry scrapes. And then our sprite scrapes, these are going to be a lot more kind of haunting, ethereal like. And then our wraith scrapes. Up next are Paranoia Stings. Just like the Ghost Bows, these are going to be atonal, mapped out to every C. Gives everything a nice haunting texture to it. Then we have our typewriter mechanics. We sampled a typewriter, and most of the notes are going to be different samples of the keys being struck by your fingers. And then we have the typewriter mechanics. kind of gives you an extra little bit of Foley sounds. And with Frenzy and Trepid, it starts sounding creepy. And then I'll go with my personal favorite, my favorite patch, the Victrola Needle. We actually sampled the actual sound of the needle hitting the actual record of the Victrola, and I think it sounds so cool, like how it all just kind of came out. It was honestly on accident. Didn't really mean to do it, but we did it anyway. And I think it sounds really cool. I have 4 different sections of different effects. Again, these can be really good alternatives to a ticking sound, which is still very extremely prevalent in trailer music, especially horror music. And then just making it go absolutely crazy. We're just gonna put everything on it. Let's see. Let me drive down a little bit. And then, last but not least, I honestly, back to the Victrola Needle, I think we might be the only company to ever sample the actual needle of a Victrola. I'm just saying. If I'm wrong, let me know. And then what's a toolkit not complete without some rumbles and slams and hits and everything. Another thing you can do some really cool pulsing sounds with some of these booms or slams. Oop. So many cool little things that you can do with this. I also included a blank patch. If anybody was interested in using this really simple GUI, you can always just go down here or right here and just add your own samples. For example, we have our own separate drag and drop folder full of all of these samples. So you can drag and drop them into your project itself. But just to give you kind of like a little kind of look inside, inside the curtain. Let's see here. Where is this one? So you can always kind of create your own instruments if you wanted to use some of your own samples. And I think that's pretty neat. A little added something for you. Get rid of that. Boop. And like let me turn that down. And like I said, you can always drag and drop your own samples. I'm going to get rid of this. All right. Like I said, you can always drag and drop your own samples in here. And just like you would some of our previous libraries that were practically just all sound packs. You can create your own. You can kind of create your own stuff. Like this is what you can chop this up and make your own like pulsing sound. It's a lot of different categories to use. There's nearly 300 sounds. I believe it's right at the right plus minus 10 sounds of 300, but it's really close. If you're watching this is available right now, Monday the 25th of March, 2024, and it is in an intro price of $79. The MSRP is going to be $99. And you can find this at ASTSsounds.com. Thank you very much for taking a look. James out.